Hello there, this is the 6th edition on this Boxing Day, coming to you on News Central TV from our Abuja studios. I'm Neota Egbe. Our top stories. The federal government confirms airstrikes on terrorists in Sokoto amid criticisms from regional leaders. National Assembly orders re-gazetting of tax laws amid controversy over alleged discrepancies. And Israel becomes first country to formally recognize Somaliland as independent state. Details in a moment. The federal government says Nigeria is working closely with international partners, including the U.S., to tackle terrorism and violent extremism through structured security cooperation. This collaboration has led to targeted airstrikes on terrorist camps in the northwest. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the cooperation includes intelligence sharing, strategic coordination, and support in line with international law and mutual respect for sovereignty. A statement posted on X by the ministry confirms President Trump's earlier comment about U.S. precision strikes in Nigeria. It stressed that all counterterrorism efforts prioritize civilian safety, national unity, and the rights of all Nigerians, regardless of religion or ethnicity. The government says it's also working to dismantle terrorist networks, cutting off funding, stop cross-border threats, and strengthen Nigeria's own security and intelligence systems. Meanwhile, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, has confirmed that Nigeria provided intelligence and gave approval for the United States airstrikes on terrorist targets in the country. He disclosed this today after the U.S. confirmed it had conducted strikes as part of counterterrorism operations. According to the minister, the operation was the outcome of ongoing security cooperation between Nigeria and the U.S.
Of State Marco Rubio of the United States. We spoke extensively, and we agreed that I was going to speak with President Tinubu, for President Tinubu to give the go-ahead, and I did speak with him. And it was agreed also that the statements that would follow would be statements that will show clearly that it is a strike against terrorism and that it is part of the ongoing joint operations between Nigeria and collaboration between Nigeria and the United States. This is an ongoing process. We have been working closely with the Americans. This is what we've always been hoping for, to work with the Americans, work with other countries to combat the terrorism, to stop the death of innocent Nigerians.
Still on the airstrikes, a U.S. congressman has described the recent airstrikes in northwest Nigeria as a turning point, calling them the first concrete step towards ending deadly attacks on Christian communities. Congressman Riley Moore says the coordinated operation between the U.S. and Nigeria sends a clear warning to extremist groups fueling the country's security crisis. Moore emphasized that President Trump has drawn a firm line, insisting the killing of Christians in Nigeria must stop. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the strikes were carried out with full cooperation from Nigerian authorities as part of a broader counterterrorism effort. Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs says the operation reflects growing international security partnerships aimed at defeating terrorism and restoring peace across the country. In the meantime, the Armed Forces of Nigeria says the recent U.S.-led airstrikes on ISIS targets in the northwest reflects the government's strong commitment to fighting terrorism. U.S. President Donald Trump said the Christmas Day strikes were aimed at stopping continued attacks on civilians, especially Christian communities. The U.S. Africa Command confirmed the operation carried out with Nigerian authorities killed several ISIS fighters in Sokoto State. The strikes came just a day after a deadly bombing in Maiduguri, highlighting rising insecurity. Nigeria's defense headquarters says the joint action shows a renewed determination to defeat terrorism and restore lasting peace. Staying with this situation, reactions are pouring in over the U.S. airstrikes. Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi has called on the Tinubu administration to immediately suspend all military cooperation with the U.S., warning that foreign involvement could worsen insecurity and compromise Nigeria's sovereignty. He argued that while Islam permits fighting terrorism, it must be done with clean hands, questioning America's moral standing. Meanwhile, Senator Shehu Sani backed the airstrikes, calling them a conscionable action, but emphasizing that Nigeria must take full responsibility for its security. He likened terrorist groups to cancerous cells threatening national stability. Also weighing in, Pan-Yoruba group Afenifere welcomed the joint strikes, calling them timely and necessary after years of insecurity. National Organizing Secretary Abagun Omololu says the action shows a serious commitment to restoring safety across vulnerable communities. And in a related development, a building has been destroyed in Kwara State after a reported drone bomb incident that occurred hours after the United States announced airstrikes on ISIS-linked terrorists in Nigeria's northwest. A video showed widely on social media showed the damaged structure, with residents filming debris they claimed were remnant of a drone bomb. Eyewitnesses said a loud explosion was heard moments before the building was hit. The development followed an announcement by U.S. President Donald Trump that American forces had carried out airstrikes targeting ISIS targets in Sokoto State. However, as of the time of filing this report, Nigerian authorities had not confirmed whether the incident was a separate attack or linked to debris from the earlier strikes in the northwest. And continuing with the reactions to the bomb strikes, the airstrikes, major opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, has criticized the federal government over its handling of the recent U.S. airstrikes in Sokoto, faulting officials for letting foreign sources break the news to Nigerians. The spokesman, Ini Ememobong, said it was unacceptable that citizens first heard of the strikes from President Trump's social media. He called the government's late and vague response inadequate, saying it raises concerns about Nigeria's sovereignty and public trust. The party warned that the government appeared unprepared and stressed that Nigeria must lead its own security communication. It also called for a review of defense agreements to prioritize joint operations and better intelligence sharing over foreign-led strikes. I'm now being joined in the studio by Dr. Hassan Sadiq, a security strategic expert. And thank you for joining us, Dr. Sadiq.
Thank you for having me.
These airstrikes, you've had the different reactions from different quarters, from a former legislator, from a a Muslim cleric. You've also heard from the political side of things. In your opinion, what would you say about the strikes?
Well, the strike, it is long overdue.
Really?
The expert, like me, like us. This issue of terrorists has been there for over decades. In security, the country is supposed to have collaborations, sharing intelligence, and where it is needed from a country that has some level of military might to assist, because terrorism is a global that affects most of the country. You understand that from the Sahel, where we belong to, we'll be facing this issue of terrorists, bandits that led to kidnapping and all that. So I was looking that before now, Nigeria is supposed to have invited our allies, like America, who has the military power to do this job. That is why I said what America just did as at last night, to me, is long overdue. All
right. Well, now also being joined by Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, a security and counterterrorism expert. He joins us virtually. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Hashim.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so you've heard Dr. Sadiq say this is long overdue. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Those who have turned terror to faith and those who have turned terror to a stream of income, I think the end is here. It is very important for us to remain very strategic in terms of our response. And then, of course, there is no one single country that can defeat cross-border crime like terrorism. And then, of course, we need cooperation from countries both within the region and, of course, internationally to defeat this menace that has confronted us as a country. So we think very key that the coherence within the cooperation is very key, and it is within international cooperation to do so. There are quite a lot of narratives and misleading information currently that is actually trying to weave this around the knowledge of the UN and US knowledge of our ecosystem, which I think does not necessarily count at this moment. What matters most is that those who really want to defeat terrorism must unite to defeat a common enemy, which is terrorism, and that in itself has continued to undermine us as a country. So whatever that has happened isn't something that we should in any way undermine. We should actually applaud it. But what we shouldn't is the fact that US should have respected that the leadership of this operation should have come from Nigeria, that it should have broke out the news from the Nigerian leadership. That for me would have been key and very strategic, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But be as it may, the question is what next after this particular strike? We expect some clearance operations. There will be movement of threats moving away from Sokoto all the way to Kebbi, down to Gusau. So what are these states within these border communities and border states doing to contain and deter threat? What are internal security plans have they put in place to actually deal with the issue of mopping and setting up checkpoints to be able to ransack trucks that are going to be moving around this country at a time like this? So it is very important for us to ask what are the strategic next steps that the internal security plan had actually put in place. So since we don't want to put on the ground, and we have been able to get this strike to happen, there should be some kind of on-the-ground spot and programming that will help us to contain data and be able to manage whatever that has happened. But most importantly, we need strategic communication now, particularly with communities where all these debris are falling. The risk is higher because, again, there must be some residual explosives in all of those debris that we saw flying over the social media where communities are handling. How do we want to tell them how to handle and manage this kind of debris?
Dr. Kashim, I'll come back to you on this matter of the debris and the surrounding communities because of that matter in Kwara State, for instance, where they say the drone bomb was found. But let me get back to Dr. Sadiq here. Let's look at the matter of sovereignty of Nigeria. I mean, Sheikh Gumi mentioned that allowing this kind of strikes threatens Nigeria's sovereignty. Do you think so?
Sheikh Gumi is someone that is well respected, but I will categorically say he's speaking from the level of low knowledge about security of a nation. First of all, when you are talking of sovereignty, sovereignty is under the feet of military might of a nation. What is the level of Nigerian military might? This is what we have to look at before you are talking of sovereignty. Yet the law has picked limitations in terms of another country not to attack another country because there's a rule of law. But you have to come back and look at it. What is the interest? And the interest now lies on your military might when it comes to the issue of insecurity. That is why I said Sheikh Gumi is a respected sheikh, but is speaking from the low level of insecurity. So we'll give it to him at that level. Now, if we are facing a problem that over time, Nigerian military, whatever, or the political power is not their will to tackle the insecurity, there's nothing wrong for us to invite external to come in and help us. What the armed forces of Nigeria need to do, which I've been said several times, is to come up with modalities. If we don't want the foot soldier of the American to be in our soil, you have to give us clear cuts, the modalities of operations, the debris, how it's going to be carried out. Over time, it's because also we are more of close, whereby a lot of informations are not being speak out, which is wrong. Because all this while, from office of the NSA, they are supposed to come up with the program that, look, by bringing in and other countries to help us. It is not that the armed forces of that country is going to be here. This is how the modalities is going to be carried out. When there's an airstrike, this is what is going to happen, this is what we'll do. But these are things they don't say. If you see, Trump has tweeted and tell us, he tell the whole world that the attack has hit and is happy, is aware, he has given them go ahead. That is how the president of a nation is supposed to speak to us. That American so is going to do this. Do we had it? No. So this is why I said, this we could have been able to put everybody to know and understand, because we have heard from the leaders and those who are supposed to speak so. The Trump has said so. So this is the way to go. From our armed forces, they've not been able to give us clear cut today that when these things happen, this is the stand of Nigeria.
So what you'll be expecting from the military to say, okay,
over time.
Yes, this partnership.
Before now, we are talking of this money Nigeria, because we are secular nations. We have multi-religions, ethnicity. There are a lot of going to politicizations. To close that gap, that is why they could have come before now to give us, to tell Nigerians, see the modalities they are going to use.
But would that not be giving access to information to the terrorists?
You are not, because the airstrike missile is powerful than what they have.
No, what I'm saying is, if you're saying the Nigerian military should have come out to tell Nigerians this is what's likely going to happen, don't you think the terrorists would also be preparing themselves?
No, if you are telling Nigerians that no, Nigeria should not have any fear of military intervention from other countries, that the modalities which is going to carry out, it is plan this, plan this. It's not that you are revealing your strategic operations. It is quite different from strategic operation. Who knew it's going to be on a Christmas day? Nobody's aware. But they know these are not what you need to reveal. Okay. But the point that you need to make it clear for people not to have, so that we don't politicize it.
Okay. All right. We'll take a moment, and when we come back, I'm sure by then Dr. Hashim would be back, and then we'll continue this conversation. Do join us again. Welcome back. I still have with me in the studio Dr. Hassan Sadiq, a security and strategic expert. Also joining us virtually, I don't know if he's back now, we had Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, a security and counterterrorism expert. I understand we don't have him back yet. We hope to get him back before we finish this conversation. So, Dr. Sadiq, before we went on that break, you were talking about the matter of sovereignty, yes, and then the role that the Nigerian military could have played. There are concerns now in some quarters that where the airstrikes took place, there are no terrorists there. You've heard that. You've heard those kind of conversations, right?
Yes. I've heard that people said that, where the airstrike, where the villagers even went to the place and take some debris of the bombs and start looking at it. Yes, those are the areas that we needed to look at. That is where the military need to now come to tell us, because these are things that before the strike has taken place, there are security surveillance. Possible Nigerians drones, army drones, has been used to survey the area, the locations and everything given to the American military where they are going to strike. But today, what we have now seen so far, it is the equipment information that is at hand. What are the achievements? This is where the military, our own military need now to be telling Nigerians that so far, this is where the bomb has hit, this is the achievement, this is the achievement. Yes, but I was waiting, because in some cases, if such things just happen in operations, they take a while, because there might be a coming in the sense that the foot soldier of Nigeria will move into where they have been targeted and be hitting. Then before they can now come with a clear information that so area. If anybody is telling us today that we have not gotten the dens of the ISIS, I will not agree until we heard from Nigeria Armed Forces.
The other question I'd like to ask is something, it's more or less see if we can get some kind of clarity, because it's been a rumor that sometimes the military gets to the den of the terrorists, to their hideout, and then just when they are about to strike, they get an order from above to leave that place. Do you think that's likely to happen in this kind of situation?
Well, there are informations that out there people said, but why sometimes we as the expert, we don't want to believe, is that what is the reason behind it? That is where some people call it sabotage. What are the reasons? And how do we be able to agree that, because through communications we can trace, if that such things happen, people should be able to come that A call B, that don't go and withdraw. On that time, we can be able to say the military has sabotaged the efforts. But if that has not come, how do you be able to agree? But you can see a lot of things because Nigeria is more of where we politicize issue than actions. So if people now come and said, look, the military are already on the dance, they now had a call, they have to withdraw. Now, who make call? We have not been able to get it. But we know there are sabotage. But if the sabotage is on the level of where certain things have been done, until we'll be able to get to the root of the matter, then from there it can now become a subject that needs to be dealt with.
Thank you so much. Dr. Hassan Sadiq is a security strategy expert. Thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
We also had joining us virtually Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, who is a security and counterterrorism expert, but in the course of the conversation, we lost him owing to network issues. We'll hope to bring him back maybe in the course of the week to talk to us some more about this whole matters. But let's just continue the conversation. We're moving away from the airstrikes to other matters. The National Assembly has ordered the re-gazetting of 4 major tax reform laws amid public controversy over alleged post-passage allegations, insisting the move is purely administrative and aimed at protecting the integrity of the legislative record. In a statement issued on Friday by the House of Representatives spokesperson Akin Rotimi, the leadership of both chambers of the Parliament directed the Clerk of the National Assembly to re-gazette the acts and issue certified true copies of the versions passed by the National Assembly. The directive follows growing public commentary surrounding the passage, presidential assent, and publication in the federal government's official gazette of the Nigerian Tax Act 2025, Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Act 2025, and the Nigeria Revenue Service Act 2025.
The current non-debt expenditure is 15.
And away from all that, it's still the festive season, and across the country, many Nigerians are on the move, traveling home to celebrate with family and loved ones. With many roads often congested with many cities during this period of the year, more passengers are turning to the railways for safer and smoother journeys. Our correspondent, Sumaya Abubakar, reports.
Festive travel is in full swing as passengers arrive at Idu and Kubwa train stations with bags, gifts, and high expectations of a smooth journey. For many, rail transport has become the preferred option, offering reliability, comfort, and reduced travel stress during this busy period.
It's faster, especially now with the gridlock happening on all major routes. I think this is better.
I'm quite excited because it is available. I am not unaware of the fact that getting the ticket, particularly during festivity, is an hassle. So for the fact that I was able to get the ticket makes me excited.
It's conducive and well coordinated. At the same time, safety precaution is assured. Although safety comes from Allah, but you have to take some precautions by yourself.
The roads are there, they are constructing the roads. And I think, any viable economy in the world, the rail system, is the best for this kind of trip.
For many travelers, the journey itself is part of the celebration as they choose a safer and more organized way for them to move during the festive rush. Rail officials say passenger turnout usually increases during the festive season as families reconnect and people move across states for celebrations. They add that measures have been put in place to manage crowds and ensure smooth operations.
We have started this 50% discounted train ride being declared by the federal government. I was expecting today is Thursday, being Christmas Day. We will not have much passengers, but you can see by yourself the passengers are here.
As celebrations continue nationwide, the railway remains key link connecting Nigerians during the festive season. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
In Benin City, residents are choosing experiences over extravagance, stepping out with family and friends to relax and create lasting memories. From historical landmarks to wildlife attractions, New Central's Amenze Bazwaye takes us through the sights and sounds and spirit of Christmas in Edo State.
From the early hours of Christmas Day, Benin City came alive with color, movement, and excitement. Festive decorations lit up parts of the city overnight, while families poured out in groups, eager to celebrate the season together. Children clutched balloons and toys as recreational centers quickly filled up, turning into lively hubs of joy, leisure, and togetherness. At the National Museum, families gathered not only to reconnect with history, but also to unwind and enjoy the calm atmosphere.
I know the economy is hard, but I'll not say, okay, because of that, I'll not start explaining to my children. I have to take them out.
I'm here to celebrate Christmas with my family.
The energy was just as high at the Ogba Zoo and Nature Park. From the entrance, excitement filled the air. Children holding balloons, parents snapping pictures, and vendors doing brisk business, selling popcorn, suya, baked treats, drinks, and colorful toys. Easy gifts for parents looking to put extra smiles on their children's faces. The swings and rides stayed busy, with children lining up repeatedly, unwilling to call it a day. Face painting added splashes of color to smiling faces as laughter echoed across the park.
I came here to enjoy myself and spend time with my family.
We came to celebrate our Christmas. I came with my siblings.
My children have been telling me, Mom, my friend said they went to Ogba Zoo during Christmas. I said, that place, there is no fun in that place. Oh, they went to go and celebrate with animals. They just said, let me bring them there. When I came, it was wow.
I bought some things and just have fun. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Even the animals appeared to embrace the festive season. The lions, usually fierce and alert, appeared relaxed, stretched out calmly in their enclosures, unfazed by the steady stream of visitors watching them in admiration.
From laughter to camera clicks to children meeting animals for the very first time, Ogba Zoo and Park has now become a destination for Christmas celebration. For many families, it is a simple and affordable way to spend time together and, of course, create lasting memories. In Edo, for News Central, Amenze Bazwaye.
Interesting times. But across Nigeria, Boxing Day is being observed as a calmer extension of the Christmas season, with families taking time to relax, reconnect, and step out after the festivities of Christmas Day. In many homes, a day is spent sharing leftover meals, watching football and other programs on TV, and enjoying family conversations while children play with gifts received the previous day. In cities across Nigeria, parks, beaches, cinema, malls, and parks are recording increased activity as people take advantage of the public holiday and special sales. Some Nigerians are also using the day to reach out to the less privileged in their communities through charity outreach. Despite economic pressure, the mood remains one of gratitude, togetherness, and quiet celebration. Well, I'm being joined now by Onyinyechi Obaro, who joins us from Lagos. Hello, Onyinyechi.
Hello, Nelta.
Indeed, I can see you out there in the field. Just tell us what's going on around you. I can see the activity behind you.
Yes, of course, it's a beehive of activity here. I am at a popular mall around Ikeja, where we know that a lot of loved ones, they would love to come spend Boxing Day around here. So I've been able to test the polls of people around here. As you can see behind me, it's a beehive. Some going in, just beginning the celebration of the Boxing Day. Others are coming out. And I've been able to understand that it's a beehive. There's a lot of crowd in there. We're not allowed to go into the mall, but I've been told that a lot of spending is being done in there, and people are just relishing the moment, the Boxing Day, just to feel happy. I have been able to talk to some out here who have just finished celebrating with families in there, and I'm hoping that they can tell us exactly how it feels in there. Just give us a glimpse of what it looks like in there. So we have, yes, thank you so much. Good evening. Happy Boxing Day. Can you just tell us, we know that you're just coming off there and you just celebrated the Boxing Day with family and loved ones. Tell us your name and let us understand how today feels special. Did you spend more? Does this year feel special on Boxing Day than last year? Do a comparison for us, please. Tell us your name first.
My name is Joshua Oche. Okay, my name is Joshua Oche from Benue State. Though this year was not really bad, though, because there is life and we still have to make it up to this last year of December, you understand? Though the crowd in there, is much. Thought they said there's no a lot of money this year, but CAs, people still turn out to celebrate the Xmas, you understand? So it's as if we are all pretending that there is no money, but since it's a festive period and last month of the year, everyone have to get in there with loved one and celebrate it better. Someone like me, I went there to celebrate with my friend, but with the crowd and the way people are massive there, I couldn't even get what I want to get from the shop. So I just have to walk down out here so that I will be going to another place.
All right, with the current situation, current economic situation, do you feel you spent more with things at a high price there than before?
Yeah, the things are very, very expensive. Unlike last year, things are not really cost like this year. I spend more, like what I budget for to spend here. I spend more than what I budget for. And that was what I did not plan for it. But since we are already here and we have to do that, so I spend more than my budget. So that is it.
All right, we've just heard from Oche right now. He says that it was a big difference. He spent more than what he budgeted for last year. So it's looking like with the current economic situation, things are at a high price in there. But people still want to have a smile on their faces, want to still celebrate and still be in the mood of celebratory mood of Boxing Day. That's what it's all about in here.
Onyechi, before you go, okay, so I understand that Onyechi can't hear me. Thank you so much, Onyechi. But let's bring in our colleague, Alex Ogbonna, who is in Owerri, Imo State. Hello, Alex. We'll take a moment and we'll come back. Israel becomes the first country to recognize Somaliland as a nation. We're back. Don't go away. Israel has become the first country to formally recognize the self-declared Republic of Somaliland as an independent and sovereign state, a decision that could reshape regional dynamics and test Somalia's long-standing opposition to its secession. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel would seek immediate cooperation with Somaliland in agriculture, health, technology, and the economy. Netanyahu congratulated Somaliland's President Abdulrahman Mohamed Abdullahi, saying the declaration is in spirit of Abraham Accords signed at the initiative of President Trump. The 2020 accords were brokered by Trump's first administration and included Israel formalizing diplomatic relations with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, with other countries joining later. Libya's Interior Ministry says the flight recorder recovered from a plane crash in Turkey that killed a senior Libyan military official and others will be sent to Germany for technical analysis as part of the investigation. The ministry said it aims to ensure a precise technical analysis. A black box contains the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder. It is typically analyzed in a crash investigation. In Germany, flight recorders are mostly analyzed by the Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accident Investigation in Braunschweig. The Turkish Public Prosecutor's Office has also pledged to support the investigation into the crash and to provide all documents and camera recordings. It added that the Libyan criminal police had sent DNA samples from relatives of the victims to the Turkish authorities to confirm their identities. Uganda's Catholic bishops have urged the Electoral Commission to take firm control of the electoral process and called on security forces to refrain from violence as the country approaches the general elections scheduled for the 15th of January 2026. The bishops made this known in their annual Christmas message delivered by Bishop Joseph Ziwa, chairman of the Uganda Episcopal Conference and Bishop of Kiunda Matiana Diocese. The bishops expressed deep concern over the escalation of violence during the campaign period. While noting that the campaigns had been relatively peaceful at the beginning, they observed that they were becoming violent, largely due to the involvement of the security agencies, including the army. They specifically called on the Electoral Commission to demonstrate effective control of the electoral process. Two boys who were forcibly recruited by a rebel militia linked to the Islamic State group have described the brutal conditions they endured in the northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The minors, freed from the Allied Democratic Forces, spoke at a care center for former child fighters, recounting years of captivity, harsh punishment, and involvement in rebel camps hidden in dense forest. Their testimonies were corroborated by health and security sources. A 12-year-old, identified by a pseudonym, spent months with the group after his family was killed and captured, while the 70-year-old was held from age 12. Both described forced conversions, learning multiple languages, and training in combat and other tasks.
Hadi nikamataka pale Eringeti. Ilikuwa busiku na maventroazere. Hadi nikamataka. Ikaua mamangu na mtoto tulikuwa bambili kitukamata seba mbili ikaua mamangu na ponga kikimbia bakifuata tupeleka kule kulifesi yabo walikuwa fanya makosa wanaua mtoto wake amtenda na shimo mimi kuniumba fimbo walikuwa wananituma saa wasema wamoniende huwa mtu mepeke mikikatala ndio bananiumba fimbo
kule kabanalu kule nilikuwa nasoma masomo bakanifundisha Kiarabu, Kiangli, Kiswahili, Kinande, banifundisha kusoma, tukana soma masomo Kiarabu. Tunateseka ovyo. Kule banatupikaka kama tusapoteza na masasi mara ule mkubwa anatuambia kachi ule mkubwa mwanakuwa anasema je batoto balichezea na masasi sana balikana cheza kule kuvita. Balikana cheza kule kuvita ile kuchezisa mara moja basambu ule mwenjetu anasacha ndenda bachongea kumukubwa kaziki mmepoteza masasi ya bale banadu banabambiaka tuchimke twende kuporo twende tubafundishe masomo nirosa bale batu banakatalaka ndio mara moja bale banadu banasambu tuna baua mnakatale kazi ya Kiislamu tukuna baua ndio mara moja roho ya Islamu inabalumia ndio banaua bale batu ndio male bale banakatalaka.
A couple has been killed in the southwest of Niger this week after armed individuals fired into the air inside the church. The incident occurred in the Dosso region of the country, being plagued by a conflict pitting the military against fighters said to be linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. ACLED, a non-governmental organization monitoring conflicts around the world, said at least 2,000 people had died as a result of such violence in Niger this year. Heavy rain has triggered flash flooding, mud flows, and powerful winter storms swept through the region of California. The downpour, driven by an atmospheric river system, overwhelmed drainage networks and sent mud and rocks rushing through roads and residential areas, particularly in hillside and wildfire-scarred communities. Emergency officials issued flash flood warnings and evacuation orders in several locations as rescue teams responded to stranded motorists and flooded homes. Some highways were closed due to debris, while power outages were reported in affected areas. Authorities say conditions remain hazardous with more rainfall possible. Residents have been urged to avoid flood-prone zones, follow evacuation instructions, and remain alert as emergency crews continue monitoring the situation. Protests have erupted across Venezuela following the country's presidential election, with thousands taking to the streets to voice concerns over the results. Demonstrators gathered in major cities calling for transparency and demanding a review of the vote count. Security forces were deployed in several areas as tensions remained high. Authorities say the election was conducted fairly, while opposition groups dispute the outcome. International observers are closely monitoring the situation, urging calm and dialogue. The development adds to Venezuela's ongoing political uncertainty as the nation awaits further announcements from electoral officials.
Para que se pronuncien países como Colombia y Brasil. Y esperamos las buenas decisiones de María Corina Machado y de Mundo González. El pueblo está en la calle haciendo lo que le corresponde, peleando su voto, protestando, cansados de esta crisis y esta miseria.
Taiwan has conducted a large-scale emergency response drill concerning a recent stabbing incident in a metro station, aiming to strengthen coordination among the police, medical teams, and transport authorities. The exercise focused on rapid evacuation, suspect control, and treatment of the injured. Officials said the drill was designed to improve readiness for violent incidents in public spaces and reassure commuters about safety. The authorities emphasized that public transport security remains a top priority as investigations into the stabbing continue.
不管是这类型的演习，或者是不管战争或者是一般的危险的恐怖攻击的，我觉得这样的演习都有必要。那就是如果真的发生的时候，我们至少有。
And moving on to the world of sports, News Central sports correspondent Udoka Njoku is facing a frustrating situation after Royal Air Maroc flight number 8554 failed to deliver his luggage on his arrival in Morocco from Nigeria on December the 21st. It's been 5 days since his arrival, and despite contacting the baggage assistance service and finding a report, his luggage remains missing. Njoku is in Morocco to cover the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Fez, and the missing luggage has hindered his ability to carry out his duties effectively. The luggage contained essential items, including clothing and documents. News Central has formally lodged a complaint with Royal Air Maroc, requesting the airline to locate the luggage and arrange for its delivery without further delay. News Central is also demanding a formal apology for the inconvenience caused to Njoku and the station. According to international aviation protocol, if the luggage isn't found within 21 days, it will be considered lost and compensation will be sought.
We're live in Morocco. News Central TV is live in Morocco, and this cup, we are bringing it back home. All right, there you have it, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the fans right there, and also those who came here to celebrate Christmas from other African countries, and not just African countries.
Well, those are reports that he had filed sometime earlier, but I'm now being joined by Udoka to give us a first-hand narration of his ordeal. Hey, Udoka, how are you doing?
Should I say I'm okay?
I can imagine.
I don't think I'm doing really, really great here in Morocco. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. So it's not really been a great experience. In as much as I've been loving to experience the whole of Morocco, I've not been able to do that to the great satisfaction, because currently my luggage is still missing. And we landed Fez on Monday, early Monday morning, around 2 a.m. We got to Fez. And up until today, I've still not been able to get a hand on my luggage. Now, every time I go to the airport, they tell me my luggage is going to get to me. They'll call me. And of course, language barrier is another reason why I've not been able to communicate well with them. Now, I got back from the airport today around 4 p.m. And I was still told my luggage is nowhere to be found. Every other person I traveled with, about 90% of them have gotten their luggage, but I have not been able to get mine. Now they said they were going to call me tomorrow to be sure that my luggage has gotten to me. I went on social media to rant, and Royal Air Maroc reached out to me. Then I should drop the details of my flight and the flight number and the day I traveled, which I have done, but I've not heard anything from Royal Air Maroc. I have important items in that luggage. I have my medications. I have some equipment that I was supposed to work with here in Morocco, which I've still not been able to do. So these are the reasons why I am crying for help. Air Maroc should please release my luggage. It is just one bag, and that bag contains a lot of things that I need to work with.
Well, Udoka, we do hope that your luggage gets to you by tomorrow at the latest. In the meantime, do your best and stay safe and warm. I understand the weather there is quite cold.
Yeah, because I really had to go shopping to get a couple of clothes to keep warm.
Yeah.
It was really, really cold here. I've been repeating clothes for like 2 days. I had to force myself to go to the mall to get a few clothes just to cover up and stay warm as well. And spending a lot of money on transportation to and through the airport as well. But
so we shouldn't just be asking. We shouldn't just be asking for the return of your luggage. They should actually do some compensation. I mean, you've gone through some harrowing experience here. That nobody. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody out there. Not to talk of my own colleague. But I do hope your luggage gets to you by tomorrow. MR, please do the needful. Thank you, Doka. We'll keep safe. We'll talk to you later. Nigeria's federal government says it has secured about $1.2 billion in financing from the United Arab Emirates. This is meant to advance construction of a 56-kilometer section of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Expressway, according to a president's statement cited by Bloomberg. President Bola Tinubu says the deal guarantees uninterrupted progress on the flagship project, which will span about 700 kilometers along Nigeria's Atlantic coastline when completed. The highway is designed to link major commercial hubs and boost trade, tourism, and logistics. The funding follows an earlier $747 million facility arranged by the Deutsche Bank and partners. Analysts say the UAE-backed financing reinforces investor confidence in Nigeria's infrastructure drive and supports the administration's broader economic growth agenda. West China Cement Limited is seeking to acquire AfriSam South Africa Proprietary Limited, underscoring the growing push by Chinese cement producers to expand across Africa. The proposed deal, disclosed in a filing with South Africa's Competition and Consumer Authority, did not reveal financial terms. Chinese cement firms have increasingly turned to Africa as domestic construction activity slows, following moves such as Huazin Cement's $1 billion acquisition of a controlling stake in Nigeria's Lafarge Africa. AfriSam's major shareholders, including South Africa's Public Investment Corporation and leading banks, have long sought exit options. Analysts say the bid aligns with President Cyril Ramaphosa's infrastructure-led growth agenda, which is expected to lift cement demand. In the meantime, China is giving companies developing reusable commercial rockets fast-track access to listings on Shanghai's star market, easing profitability and revenue requirements to boost funding for strategic space technology. Under new rules, firms can list if they achieve key technological milestones, including a successful orbital launch using reusable rocket technology. The move reflects Beijing's push to close the gap with the United States, where SpaceX dominates reusable launch systems. Chinese firms such as Land Space are racing to catch up despite high capital needs and technical hurdles. By aligning capital markets with national space goals, authorities aim to accelerate innovation, support satellite constellations, and weaken SpaceX's near monopoly in low Earth orbit. And that's all on the 6th edition for this Boxing Day, but here's a recap of our major stories. We told you that the federal government had confirmed that President Tinubu approved the U.S. airstrikes and terrorists in Sokoto amid criticisms from regional leaders. The National Assembly orders re-gazetting of tax laws amid controversy over alleged discrepancies. And Israel has become the first country to formally recognize Somaliland as an independent state. Do send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number showing on your screen. We'd really love to hear from you. Follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Thank you for watching. I'm Nelta Egbe, and I'll see you next week. Merry Christmas. Bye.